Good morning. Welcome back. How we doing? How we doing? All right. We got a big economic calendar this week. Morning, guys. Post that for the group real quick. All right. Good to go. Good to go. Full week of trading, full week of everything. Back to business. Back to business. Good morning, Chef. Great video with Carmine. Thank you, man. Yeah, if you guys that video was recorded a couple weeks ago, but if you guys want to check that out, Carmine just posted a video, me and him. Feel free to check that one out. It's on his channel. I'll post the link later in the stream. Actually, you know what? I'll just pin the post right now. Why not? Morning, guys. There we go. We'll pin that. Boom. All right. We're good to go. How's everyone's weekend? The Gabagool boys. That's right. Gabagool. Welcome back, guys. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Productive, fun, right? You gotta have fun. That's important. Gotta have fun. It was my buddy's birthday. So we went out, had some fun this weekend. It's very important, right? Relax, get your mind off market a little bit. Very important. Morning, Yank. Morning, guys. Life is short. Travel, see the world, touch grass. I agree, Chris. I agree. Tough weekend. Well, hopefully better. Brian? Wait a few minutes for some more to jump in. Interesting, definitely some interesting levels this morning on the futures to definitely prepare for. Nasdaq ES levels, that 20 SMA, very important across a lot of names. So going to be watching this again. Not too much craziness over the weekend. Some names up, some names down. Tech sort of mixed bag this morning. Eric, thank you, man. Please be a lonesome cowboy. Yeah, hey, I'm just always gonna be who I am. I'll never change that. It's pretty easy to be yourself when you just be yourself. So there's really no reason for me to change who I am. We've grown a good community with me being the person I am. If I was not able to grow a community with the person I am, then maybe it would lead me to change things and to pretend to be someone I'm not. But I've done just fine in my trading and in YouTube and growing a community by being the person I am truly and to my core. So what's the reason to change that? That will never change. So don't you worry about that, eh? Carmine's a good guy. Whatever you think about him, he's a good guy. He's just like me. Nice Italian. Maybe you think differently, but that's how I feel. If you change, you will change as a trader also. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I talked about this in my last video. You have to trade to your risk tolerance. You have to trade to your personality, right? That is very important. If you try to change to be someone you're not, if you try to change to, be something, try to show off or something in that regard, it's probably going to affect your trading as well, right? So, yeah, always got to trade to your personality, to your risk tolerance. Very important, very important. All right, guys. Well, 8:05. Let's get started. Thank you guys for being here again. Thank you for stopping into the live streams. I hope you guys do continue to enjoy these. We've been here every day of the year. Maybe we've missed like 1 or 2 days, but damn, we are consistent. And I appreciate you being consistent, being here. There must be a reason for it, and I very much appreciate that. It shows me that what we're doing is providing value, and that really keeps me going. So I appreciate you guys' support. If you guys could press that like button, got about 1,000 of us here, 200 likes. Push that ratio up real quick. Thank you, man. Big shout out to V. Played the break and retest on Cost 530. Yeah, that was nice. 530 Cost was nice, man. Nice. Thank you for the donation. Nice trade. There was one thing I was about to say, and I lost my train of thought. Whatever. Let's get started. All right. Today, July 10th, Tesla 276. We're back at it. Big level here. Nvidia, demand hold to 418. Big level. Nvidia, Tesla, very sideways, but also very interesting watches here. Meta, also another channel name today, 290 to 295. Strong this morning as well. Big watch here. Microsoft, that 4-hour flag, not flag, I guess I sort of misspoke by saying flag, but this 4-hour trend is being broken this morning on Microsoft. This is something I've been watching for a while now, and it finally broke this morning. However, Nasdaq's sort of strong right now, so it's not my favorite watch, but this is interesting, this Microsoft 4-hour trend break. The Google is a bear flag and a very clean bear flag break that I wanted to point out today. Costco rejection, we'll talk about that. Looks like Praj caught that one. That was really nice on Friday. And then Ulta, something I'm also watching here. We'll also look at AMD, Amazon, some of the other tech names if we have time, which if we do, we should. I'll get quickly through what we have. And yeah, so that's our schedule today. We're going to start by looking at the economic and earnings calendar. Jay Price, thank you, man, here for the schedule. Thank you, my friend. We'll keep that inside joke running. All right, let's get started. Press that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Yeah, it's game time. So, economic calendar. What is our ad today? Our ad today is go beyond trading just stock options. Unlock news trading strategies and learn how index options can be a new tool in your trading arsenal. All right. So, let's zoom in here. Today's economic calendar, nothing here in the pre-market, but 10 a.m. wholesale inventories, 10 a.m. Little bar is speaking. Fed vice president, I guess, is speaking. Some more Fed president speaking at 11, and then consumers credit at 3. So nothing too much here today. Some Fed president speaking. I don't think that'll move us much. The reason being is because really this week is all about Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday, we're back to our CPI. My family is from Naples. I saw someone ask that earlier. Napolitan is where Naples, Italy is where my family's from. Core CPI is Wednesday, right? CPI Wednesday, PPI Thursday. That's really the main thing. Do we get a little bit of sideways, sort of consolidation chop before that? Very possible, right? Definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right? Trading the days prior to big news, expecting big moves, and then losing because of chop is insanity, right? It might happen, it might not, but at least you need to come into the week prepared for the possibility of slow price action before Wednesday, before Thursday, right? We have to know that. It's the same thing as when we have FOMC on a Wednesday, right? We know that FOMC is coming. Most of us come here on the stream and say, it might be a little bit choppy Monday, Tuesday. And then you look back at your trades and you're like, I lost money on Monday because I was trading in sideways chop. Well, we need to do our best as traders, as risk managers, to understand that the price action may be sideways or slow before major economic news. It's a very common thing. It's not 100% guaranteed, but it is always a possibility. So today, tomorrow, keep it easy. Understand you do have CPI Wednesday. That's very important. And then Thursday, we have PPI. So big stuff there. Jobless claims Thursday as well. And that's pretty much the end of the week. All right. Next week, you should have, not much here on next week, but let's focus here. CPI, PPI, Wednesday, Thursday. Big stuff. That's your main event this week. All right. So that's that. Let's pull up the earnings calendar because we are starting to get some earnings again. Earnings week or earnings season is not in full swing, but we are starting to get few. And my favorite stock ever, I'm just kidding, WD-40, baby. WD-40. No, I don't know I didn't even know they had a stock. I didn't know WD-40 was publicly traded by itself. I thought maybe that was owned by another company, but WD-40. Very interesting. I've never seen that. Nothing really. Not much. Here's how you know when this is how you know earning season is starting, right? This is the key way to tell. It's when the banks start. The banks are always the first to start to report, and you guys can see here on Friday, JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, you're starting to get some banks, BlackRock. That's when you know things are going to start to heat up. So banks on Friday, Delta, Pepsi on Thursday. Besides that, pretty light here. But it looks like, as you can see on this Friday, you're going to start getting some banks. And that means earnings season is around the corner. All right? So let's go futures. Let's start with the Nasdaq. And it's a very apparent level this morning. It's apparent as hell. It's the absolute must-watch level. And it's 15,200 on the Nasdaq. You guys can see it right here, right? 15,002 right here, double top. You held it on Friday of last week, right? You held 15.2 and you pushed to the upside Friday morning. Now that's Friday morning. That's not Friday afternoon. Now you guys can see, right? Here's Friday morning. And this is actually, right? And Friday was a little bit of an unfortunate trading day for me because I had the perfect idea, and the stock that I traded just didn't really work for me. But I had the idea of longing off 15.2 on Friday, and it was a good idea, right? The longs off 15.2 were very good, right? That was our 15.2 demand that held very nicely. We popped into our supply, and we, look at this little double-sided opportunity on Friday. Longs off demand, shorts off supply. Nice opportunity to both sides. You close the day right at that 15.2 demand, and then you can see in the pre-market, we drop below it. Now this morning, what are we doing? We're going right back into Friday's lows. So you guys know how important previous day's lows are. Previous day lows, 15.2. You are sitting right at it today. Is there a possibility of the Nasdaq popping back into 15.2 and rejecting today? Absolutely, that possibility is there, right? So 15.2, we go to the hourly chart. Not only is that a previous day low, not only is that Friday's low, that is also the double top rejection from Wednesday and Thursday, the last week of June, right? So this is a very important watch today. If you start to long here at 15.2 today, right, and the Nasdaq decides to supply reject at 15.2, right, that is going to be an ugly day, right? So you need to pay attention to that 15.2 supply that we have traded right into in the pre-market today. If you are able to get above 15.2, if you're able to see some really strong demand holds there, then things can change, right? You have to see some consolidation above, some willingness to pop higher, right? That is your key if you're looking for further upside today, but you need to be over 15.2 to be looking long, all right? So be careful of that 15.2 today. Clear double top, Friday's lows. It's a very apparent level there. Keep that on your charts. To the downside, I mean, the real demand to the downside is here at 15,040. I really don't see much besides that level. You can see we are popping at some random spots within this channel, but the real demand steps in around 15,040. Right here, right here, right here, right here. 15,040, that little quadrupled bottom there, that's really your real demand at that 15,035, 15,040 below. Michael, Apple is a good trade all day Friday. Nice job, Michael. Thank you for the donation, my friend. As always, appreciate you. So 15.2, 15,040 is really your channel. It's like 40.35 right in this area. That's really your channel here that you're trading in. You have to watch 15.2 today. That is going to be your major watch. 50 SMA nowhere near. 20 SMA is sort of messing with the Nasdaq. We'll see it on the ES more than the Nasdaq, but if we do, so here's the one thing I will, a little bit of a short thing to watch, short-term thing to watch. If you do fade the 15.2 supply today, right, let's sort of scenario this out. If you do go short off the 15.2 supply on the Nasdaq today, just be cautious of the possibility of the Nasdaq holding the 20 SMA, okay? So yes, if you do fade the 15.2 supply, there is a possibility of the 20 SMA maintaining on a downside move, right? So just be cautious of that. You might see a 15.2 fade, which I think you're going to get here soon, which you're already seeing as we speak. But if you get that pullback, be careful of the market doing this, right? This is something to be cautious of this morning. Maybe to hold these previous highs and this previous low, right? In the short term. So keep that 20 SMA on your screen, right? Keep that 20 SMA on your screen. Keep that 15.2 on your screen. Those are really your short-term levels to watch here today, all right? 15.2 is the biggest. 15.2 will decide the day. Either you hold above it or you stay below it. That will decide the day in my eyes, all right? QQQ, it's the exact level. Look at this. Look at this rejection you're getting. This is Friday's lows. It's the exact same level as 15.2. And if we go to the hourly chart, you can also see is this previous high. 366.60, 360, really up to like 367, but 366, I don't like when I have like these random levels for you. 366.50, I would like to put it at. 60 is just sort of random, but I like 366.50, 367 zone as a potential rejection area. Why? Right? Here, 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 and on top of that, 5-minute chart, Friday's lows, right? Friday's lows right here. Pre-market low right here, right? After hours consolidation right here. Very, very apparent level of potential rejection or of the potential hold for more upside, right? This is your key level, right? This is where the action will take place today. Right here at 366.50 on the Qs. And demand is below at that 20 SMA, right? If we go to the hourly chart, look at where the demand held. You can see we held at this previous low from Thursday, right here, 20 SMA, previous highs right here. So your demand below is 365. 365 to like, I'll give it 364.50. About a 50-cent range there. Let's go 364.50 to 365. That's your demand. Let me move this over. Right there. That's your demand below, 364.50, 365. Your supply above, 366.50. All right. That's your little channel today. I'm going to go down to the 30-minute so you can see this in a little bit more detail. Here you go. All right. You can see double top highs. Boom, boom. Previous lows right there. That's where you're potentially rejecting as we speak. Demand, previous high, previous high, previous low, previous low. So 365, 366.50. Watch that range stay in the Qs. That lines up with the Nasdaq 15.2 level that you have to be watching today. ES. Yeah. This one's a little interesting. The SPY is cleaner than the ES, which has been interesting to note. I've been watching the SPY a little bit more lately, but I will go to the hourly chart, give you a general idea of where this SPY is holding. The SPY is attempting, in my eyes, to hold this 20 SMA. I think that's the really important level that it's attempting to hold. You can see right here, previous highs, all these previous highs here. You can see it tried to break that on Thursday, got right back above it. Tried to break it today, got right back above it. So I think in my eyes, as I approach today, right, as I approach the trading day today, I do not want to be short the ES if we are above the 20 SMA and this 44.30 level. This 44.30 level has been very important. Here's Friday, right? Look at Friday's lows. You can see Friday we held 44.30. You can see end of day we held 44.30. When we broke below 44.30, right, there was some slippage, but we are right back above it. So today, right, I would not want to be shorting back into the 20 SMA, back into Friday's lows. If we try to maintain this 20 SMA today, the SPY could try to just sort of either trade sideways or creep back to the upside. So for me, if you're going to get aggressive on the short side, if you're looking for downside on the ES, you need to see us lose this 20 SMA. I think that is your key thing to watch today. And that 20 SMA lines up perfectly with both Friday's lows and this very important 44.30 previous highs, right? You can see right here, this 44.30 level is right here. 44.30, 44.30, 44.30, and 44.30, right? So that 44.30 and the 20 SMA are lined up pretty much lockstep today. So that is definitely a potential area where the market can hold up. You could definitely see some kind of hold here at the 44.30 today. So be careful of that. If you are shorting this market, that could hold, right? Don't just ignore that. If you are short, don't just say, hey, I think we're going to new lows, right? I don't care about this level in the short term. Well, you need to be paying attention to this. 20 SMA, 44.30, that's your watch today. Upside supply is right here at 44.50. 44.50 to 44.30, that's your 20-point range on the ES today. Look for breaks of either side. SPY, very clean. Actually cleaner than the ES. Here it is. It's the let's go 1 hour chart on the SPY. Where did the SPY pull back to? Very clean 20 SMA pullback and previous demand at 437. So 437 Thursday held. 437 was previous highs, all right here, right? This is the same as that 44.30, 437, 437, 437, 437, 437, right? How many times does it hold there? It's held there multiple times, either as previous rejection points, that have now turned into double bottom demands. What else is at 437? It is exactly where the 20 SMA is. The 20 SMA is right at 437 today. It's at 437.05. So if the SPY is above 437 and the 20 SMA, be careful of looking for very extended shorts, right? You might be able to short it off this previous day low, right? You might be able to look short off the 439 area, 439, 439, right? This is your level that is rejecting on the SPY right now. It's right around this low. It's right around this little 44.40 level. I'm actually going to push that. I'm going to keep that on the screen here, actually. The 44.40 on the ES. We adjust that. I'm going to pop that 44.40 on because you're starting to see some reaction to it, and you're starting to see that is where the SPY is starting to reject not only the previous day lows, but also if we look back right around here, right? This 439, 439 area back here, you're starting to see some rejections at that 439 as we speak, right? So 439, that's your supply today, right? And your demand is at 437, 2-point range, right? 2-point range. That is very, very similar to what the Nasdaq is doing, right? Look at the Nasdaq. Previous lows, 15.2, right? So your 15.2 supply on the Nasdaq is lining up perfectly with your SPY 439 level, right? Look at how similar this is. So that's your main watch, right? You already know. That's your game plan. If I see the SPY under 439 and I see the Nasdaq rejecting 15.2, I need to be careful going long, right? That has to be in your mind. If you see the SPY regain 439 and the Nasdaq regain 15.2 and start to push off of it to the upside, then I think you can clear a little bit of an upside move. But that is going to be your key to watch today. Those are not short-term. Those SMAs are daily SMAs, so they're longer-term SMAs, which do get respected, right? So you've seen these daily SMAs get respected. Look how well it got respected there, right? The daily SMA, very important. These are levels that do get respected. ES, daily SMA, 20 SMA, respected like hell right there. NASDAQ, daily 20 SMA, respected very nicely, right? And you can see, if I go to this daily chart, it's getting respected again, right? Look at the wick on the NASDAQ back above that daily 20 SMA. So it's getting respected again. So you need to pay attention to that. But 15.2, man, look at that 15.2 candle that's coming in here on the 15-minute. That's very, 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 very important. 15.2, very important. All right? So that's the ES. That's the NASDAQ. Let's go to Mr. Jones. That is right at demand. Dow Jones is right at demand, right at the 50, 100. Let me take off the 20 for now. You guys can see right here. Here's Mr. Jones, Dow Jones, and previous lows. Look at where you're at right now on the Dow. Not only is this a previous low, demand, this is also the 100 SMA and the 50 SMA sort of stacked up right here. You also have the 200 SMA below on the Dow here around that 33.6. So can the Dow hold this demand today? Absolutely, right? Is the Dow maybe going to do this again? Very potential. What has it been doing over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks? It's been going from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, right? Can it do it again? Why not, right? So watch that demand there at that 33.9. Be careful of that Dow demand stepping in. If you are short some of these Dow names, just understand that the Dow is back at demand here around 33.9, okay? Also watch that 100 SMA, which got very much respected in this pre-market here, right? Look at the pre-market, 100 SMA right there, respected like hell. So watch that 100 SMA below on the Dow if you are short. Russell. We already did the QQQ. What did the Russell do, right? The Russell looked pretty ugly. It looked bad, right? But what did it do? It did the same thing. It traded. It held the demand. Thank you for the $5 Canadian. Ravinder. I can't pronounce that one, man. I'm gonna call you R. R. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. That $5 donation. Right. This is the same concept I just talked about on the Dow. You look very ugly down into demand, but what does it do? It holds it like a champ. Demand, right? You can see right here, previous demand holds, previous rejections, right? This is your channel low for 18,040 on the Russell. What else does the Russell have down here? The 100, the 200, and the 50 SMA all stacked up, holding this market a little bit higher. So what is the Russell doing today? It's pretty much right in the middle of the channel. So you're not going to trade the Russell here. If you went long off here last week, well done. You look good. If you went short off the 1920, down back into demand, well done. This is where you trade the Russell, here or here, right? When you start to trade in the middle, then you lose your edge, right? You lose your edge when you start to enter trades in the middle of a channel. So I would look for that continuation in the 1920, or I'd look for that demand at 1840. All right? That's your channel on the Russell. That's the futures. 15.2. That's really the main level I'm watching today. Is 15.2. That's really the textbook one that looks very, very apparent this morning. 15.2 on the Nasdaq. All right. Tesla. So, Tesla, a very clear 280 rejection again on Friday. And I sort of messed this one up. I was looking for sort of that long off the pre-market high. And I just sort of, I guess I misread this one. The 280 supply rejections were, the best trade of the day there, right? 280 supply, back in the 280 again. Another beautiful supply rejection. That was a beautiful trade from Friday. So if we go to the 15-minute chart, we know, right? We know now 280 is going to be a very, very tough level. So we have to be careful. If Tesla does pop back into 280, we need to be cautious of those rejections coming in again. We've seen multiple times that 280 has rejected here back on Thursday, rejected here on Friday as well. Nice little top there at 280 to be cautious of. Today, this 276. Now, I don't know whether to have this as red or green yet because we're sort of trading, just sort of teeter-tottering on it. As of right now, we are below it, so I'll keep it green, or I'll keep it red. 276 has been sort of a line in the sand here. 276, 276, 276, 276 sort of held here, back here on Thursday as well. We're sort of stuck right at it. 276, 276.50, we're stuck right at it this morning. Do we reject this for another move back into 273, or do we hold back above it for a move into 280, right? That's sort of what I'm looking at on Tesla today. 276 is that middle line in the sand, and then I am looking to see do we hold 276? If so, then upside into 280. If we reject 276, if so, downside into 273. That's really how I will decide how to play Tesla today. It's what happens at 276. All right, that's sort of what I'm watching on the short term. If the Nasdaq rejects that 15.2 today, which you can see it is continuing to do, I would not be looking for Tesla upside, right? So that is very key. This is what people tend. I'm not saying not saying everyone. I'm not saying everyone, right? But this is what maybe some newer traders will tend to do, right? They'll forget what we just talked about on the futures, right? They'll forget that the Nasdaq is rejecting previous day lows and a major supply at 15.2, and they will go long on Tesla and just ignore what the Nasdaq's doing, right? And then if the Nasdaq truly rejects 15.2 today, that would more than likely, right? It's a higher percent chance than not that Nasdaq 15.2 rejection will cause downside on Tesla, right? So you need to be paying attention. Your ideas need to correlate with what the futures are doing. So my idea here, as long as the Nasdaq's under 15.2, I'm not going to long Tesla here, right? I'm not going to long any tech stocks if the Nasdaq is rejecting 15.2, right? It may look like a flag. Maybe it looks bear or bullish on the 4-hour. But if you're trading on an intraday, you are not going to long Tesla on a Nasdaq 15.2 rejection, right? Unless you're okay sitting in some drawdown and you think that eventually it'll work out. Now, that's a different story. That's not how I trade. But, of course, you can trade that way. Just a different style. 276, that's your level. Look to see if it rejects. If it does, I like 273. If not, maybe upside over that into 280, right? So that's Tesla. That's what I'm watching today. Nvidia, that demand below has held very, very strong. This is an interesting chart, man. I don't know. It's getting a little bit choppy, sort of. Every day is just like a different day on Nvidia. It's like these really quick pops that give up, or just these quick downsides that hold. It's very, very violent lately. Like the Nvidia intraday moves, maybe people don't really realize this, but these moves are monstrous. This is a $17 move in either direction here. This alone, yes, on Friday, a $12 move in the stock. That's a lot of money, right? Even if you just bought 100 shares, these are big, big stock movements. You have to remember that when you look at a stock like Nvidia, right? Google, right, for example, moves maybe $1, at most $2 on an intraday trading day. That's like its huge days, it's $2 move. Normal, it's like a 50-cent move. Apple, same thing. Apple moves like $1 to 50 cents. That's its average trading range, right? The ATR. Nvidia is like monstrous. I mean, it's like $20 in either direction on a single day. It's just something to pay attention to, right? And be careful of, because that will affect options significantly. And that's why Nvidia options are more expensive, right? Because of that reason. But anyways, enough about that. Just something to make sure you're aware of, right? Make sure you remember the scale of these moves on Nvidia. They are big, very big. So up to the levels on Nvidia, 434 seems to be the real heavy supply here. 434 true range. Sorry, not average trading range. Average true range. I always mess that up. So 434, right? Look at all these rejections at 434. 434, 434, 434. Multiple rejections at 434 on Nvidia, right? And you can see as we pushed back into these levels last week, look at the inability to break over this red zone above. So if you are looking to long Nvidia, please be cautious just holding longs as you get near this 434 level, right? You can clearly see how tough it is for Nvidia to get above that zone. Now, if it does get above that zone, this could really start to get interesting again, right? If Nvidia really starts to squeeze over this supply high, there is going to be a lot of shorts that are going to stop out of this play, right? There's going to be a lot of shorts that are sort of stacked up here that are probably going to be forced to exit, or at least they're going to start to exit if you start to see something like this. So interesting. Just keep an eye on that 434. I think there is breakout potential here. It is holding up very well, but we can't get too excited about that idea until we get confirmation. To the downside, the demand has held like a champ here around this 418. That has not given up. Let me put the 20 SMA back on just in case we're getting some 20 SMAs here, which we are here on Nvidia, right? So 20 SMA here on Nvidia is right around that 418 demand that has been holding. That's probably assisting Nvidia to the upside, right? Look at what Nvidia has done off this 20 SMA, right, back in the last few weeks. That hold right there. Look at that hold at the 20 SMA on Thursday on Nvidia. Perfect level hold at the 20 SMA. So if you're grinding higher, if a stock is grinding higher and respecting its 20, I think that's in this market at least, right? You're probably picking up on it already in my live streams. I'm talking about the 20 SMA more than I typically would. Now, there's a reason for this, right? It's not just because I randomly picked up some type of tool that now I'm like really looking at. When the market starts to respect something and you start to pick up on that trend, you need to start looking at it, right? I didn't see the market respecting 20 SMAs earlier this year and earlier in 2021, right? Because the market was straight down. The market was very extended under the 20 SMA. It was respecting more of like those 100, 200 SMAs because they're so extended to the downside. Over the last few weeks, as the market has pushed higher, you're starting to see the 20 SMA become a very important level across both the futures, the ETFs, and now some of the stocks. And this is something that I would start to adopt in your trading, right? On Thursday, if you guys watched my live trading video, I hope you did. I posted a live trading video on Thursday of last week. I told the group, let's start to scale out of our Nvidia puts at the 20 SMA. You will hear that live in the video from Thursday. And that is just simply adapting to what the market has been doing, right? And you can see, look at the 20 SMA on Friday or on Thursday. Look at the wicks that occurred at the daily 20 SMA, right? This is not just making this up, guys. Look at these wicks. This is a random level, right? Without the 20 SMA here, there is nothing at this level that would have told me to get out of my shorts. Nothing, right? There's not much of anything. Maybe this little level here, but the reason I knew that was there is because I have adopted this 20 SMA, which has been very important lately, right? And you can see, look at this, right? Random 414.60. Why, right? Why did it hold here? Why did it hold here? Why did this wick bounce so aggressively here at 11:25 a.m. on Thursday, right? Daily SMA, all right? So pop it on there. It doesn't hurt, right? Something to just be aware of. So just wanted to point that out. But for Nvidia today, a little bit of a range, right? Watch that 434, 418, 420 demand, and then watch that 20 SMA below. All right? Keep an eye on that. Let's go Meta. Meta. Very clear channel here on Meta today. 295, 290, right? 295, 290. That's the level to watch, or the zone to watch on Meta. Guys, no need for a video. Just, go to your studies, type in daily SMA, right? That's all you gotta do. Press that, go to here, change it to 20, change it to whatever color you want, however you want it to look, and press OK. That's it, right? Very easy. If you can't find it on your broker, they may not have it. You need to look for a daily SMA. Daily SMA. Okay? Very easy. 295, 290, right? That's your meta zone. 295, 290, right there. Very clear. Clear as day. Watch for a break of either side. That's all you do here. You put an alert here, create an alert, at or above, create an alert, right? At or below. Make sure you know if it breaks, right? You can look to play the supply. You can look to play the demand, right? But it's a very clear range here on Meta. Look to fade the 295 supply. Look to see if demand holds at 290. If you break 290, look for the move to the downside. If you break 295, look for the move to the upside, all right? Pretty clear range here. I think if you do break under 290, you're coming into that 284. You can see Meta is still extended past its 20. Does it want to pull back into it? That would occur if you break under the 290, right? See if you break under the 290 on Meta, right? 290, 295 Meta, big zones. Microsoft. This is just interesting, man. I'm trying to see if this plays out. It has not yet, right? It has been a slow one. Has not played out yet. But here is what I'm starting to see here on Microsoft, right? This is the first time, maybe, that Microsoft has broken this 4-hour uptrend. It is potential here, right? 4-hour uptrend has held like a champ on Microsoft, right? Look at these holds at the 4-hour, right? Look at these holds on this 4-hour trend. Every single time it pops down into that trend, it bounces. So today, it's like right there, man. It is right there. All right, if we go to like the hourly, let me zoom out on the hourly. You can't quite tell whether it's broken or just respecting it again just yet in my eyes. It is right there. So, yeah, something to watch, right? Something to at least keep your eyes open for here on Microsoft. Very close to that 4-hour uptrend again. And here's another thing that I'm starting to see here this morning. Look at how we just broke under the 20, right? And look at the rejections here at this 20 SMA, right? So here's your trend. I'm actually going to move this down and delete that. Look at the rejections of Thursday's lows here. Let me get a little bit more time and clean this up. I want you to see this a little bit cleaner here. Okay, I think that should be... Yeah, so look at this Thursday low here and look at these lows here. 335, 336, it's right in 335.50. Look at the rejections that are coming in today. And you have now the 20 SMA trading above that level, right? So keep an eye on that. 335, Thursday lows, right? Watch that supply, right? Keep an eye. If Microsoft stays below this Thursday low here, this could be changing trend, right? If we break below that Thursday low, you could be changing this 4-hour uptrend here, which has held pretty damn well for some time now, right? So 4-hour uptrend, you're under that 20 SMA now. Let's see if we break below. This is something I'm definitely watching here today. To really get an idea of whether I take this short is whether it stays under Thursday's lows. The exact low of Thursday was 335.50. 335.50 was the exact low from Thursday of last week. That is going to be my watch. If we stay below 335.50 on Microsoft, I will look to play this short. That is something I will be looking for today. All right. Google, 4-hour. Very interesting bear flag here. We talked about this one last week, right? Look at this 4-hour chart on Google. You had a break. You had a retest. You had a retest of previous demand that turned into a very heavy supply, right? This is a break and retest on the downside. This is a change in market trend here on Google, right? So here is Google inverse, right? This is inverse Google, right? This is something that maybe will help you see moves to the downside, at least in this market right now. This is inverse Google, right? And I think a lot of us would say, right, look at Google's bull flag. Look at the bull flag break and retest on Google here, right? I think a lot of people out there would be telling me to look at Google's bull flag break and retest, right? Except this is Google inverse, right? I'm looking at Google bull flag break or bear flag break and retest here. This is very interesting. Break, retest, bear flag, and you're starting to break it. So, yeah, something I'm watching, right? Something I'm definitely watching. I'll watch that 50 SMA below. It's around that 119. We'll see if that holds. If that does not hold, I think you should probably trade back down into these lows. Right? I really do. I think Google needs to trade back into this 116.50. I think that's very possible to see Google sort of fade back into this demand and maybe build a new channel here, right? But I think to build this channel, you need to see a move back into 116.50, right? So keep an eye on this, right? Keep an eye on this. This is very interesting. Let's see if we get that trade back in the 116.50. If we do, possible demand down there. The other reason why I think Google has underperformed, here's the larger reason why I think Google has underperformed, is because this move has still not really been given up, right? This move is still in the back of my mind, right? When I see moves like this, just from experience, whether whether you think it's going to happen now or happen later, when I see moves like this, I would say 95% of the time they get given back. It gives it back, and then maybe it tries to grind up once again. So I would not be surprised one bit. It's definitely not in the short term, but over the next few months, next few weeks, right? I would not be surprised to see Google come back and retest this low or this previous breakout point, right? It's a little bit a little bit too fast, too quick for a stock like Google in my eyes, right? This right here, that's a little bit aggressive. Do I think there's opportunity to get that downside back into 108, 109? Absolutely. I absolutely could see that. Maybe back into that 100 SMA, back into that previous demand where we originally broke out from. I think it's possible, right? I think it's very possible. And after seeing, some of these weekly candles, do we need a pullback? It's a little aggressive, right? That type of a pullback is pretty aggressive. That's a pretty big pullback. But you can see we just rejected. Look at this weekly 122 level, right? Weekly rejection, and look at 122, right? Look at 122 here. That's the exact level that we just bear flagged off of. So, yes, we just bear flagged, and I do like the downside potential. But what's even more important about this is, where did we just reject? We just rejected a weekly level at 122. 122, 122. That is the exact level we just rejected on the 4-hour. So, big watch here, right? Big watch. It may not happen quickly. It might chop here, right? Google could just do this for the next 2 through 3 weeks, and we make no money on this. That's very possible outcome. But something I will be monitoring, something I just wanted to bring across your radar. All right. Weekly chart. Costco, we talked about this supply rejection on Friday. Congrats if you guys took this. We said Costco, watch for the 540 rejections. This was a major daily chart rejection level right here. Beautiful, right? Beautiful play, beautiful setup. Congrats to you guys that were on the live stream that took this play. This was sick. So nice downside under 530. What are we watching today? We're looking to see if 530 turns into rejections. If 530 now turns into rejections on Costco, right, we are looking for further downside, right? So here's the 4-hour. This was 530, right? 530 was that important breakout point, 530, right? And we are trading under that. So if Costco trades back into 530 and rejects, it's game time, right? It's game time there, right? If Costco rejects 530, I think it is game time to the downside. Costco is not a stock that goes straight up without pullbacks. We have seen that, right? Straight up, big pullback. Straight up, big pullback. Straight up, I don't see why, right? Especially if the market starts to slow down a little bit. Why does Costco not pull back again? And maybe it just keeps doing the same thing, right? So this could be your top here, short term, for Costco up at this 540. Let's see if 530 rejects here. I think that's going to be your key. See if 530 rejects. See if this previous rejection point right here turns into a rejection again, right? Previous lows, previous highs. Look to see if you get this again. 530 rejections, Costco, keep an eye on it. Ulta. This is also very interesting to me, right? Ulta just filled the downside gap from earnings, right? So here is Ulta on the daily chart. Ulta just filled the downside gap from earnings. This 475 level, right? 475 gap down. You just filled that entire gap down right there on the upside, right? And so if we go to the 4-hour chart, look what we're starting to see at this gap fill level. We're starting to see some slowdown, all right? We're starting to see some slowdown. And what else do we have here? We have the 200 and the 50 SMA stacked up right there. Does Ulta reject the 200 SMA? Does it reject the gap fill? Are we going to do a gap fill reversal, right? Are we going to move back lower after filling that gap? Something I'll watch, right? Just wanted to point it out. Daily chart, Ulta, right? Gap fill, 200 SMA. This is going to be a big 475 level. I'd watch that zone. I just want to run through a few more tech names before we jump out of here today, just because I know a lot of you guys have interest in tech. Amazon, clear as day channel. Wait for it to break. You guys can see I have my alert set. 130, 127. Look at the channel. It has done the same damn thing for weeks, right? Weeks. Watch the channel. Right now it's in the middle of it. I don't like your edge here, but look to see 127. Look to see 130, 150. All right? AMD, it's all about 113 in my eyes on AMD. As of right now, it is above that 113, but I don't know. It's just sort of weak. The larger channels like this 110 to 116.50, that might just be what you should watch here on AMD. Look at the 20 SMA rejection on AMD, right? That's another reason why I think AMD's been weak. Look at how AMD flipped from holding the 20 to rejecting the 20. That's very important, right? Look at that little 20 SMA rejection last week on Wednesday. This was the AMD puts that we played on Wednesday. So Yeah, I think it's like this 110 to around this 112.50, right? You can see this 112.50 also has some importance. It's this previous high here, previous highs here, and a hold in the pre-market today. So 112.50, 110 demand below, and then the supply is very heavy up at 116.50. Woo-woo, you guys know the picture. You guys know the story. I'm not going to update you every day. You already know the game plan. It's a supply rejection on the weekly chart from the last 3 years of levels, right? This is the same level Lulu has rejected for the last 3 years. There is nothing more that you need to see here besides gaining confidence and actually putting a trade on, right? There's nothing else you can gather here. This is it. The analysis is done. You either take the trade or you don't, all right? This is that situation. You either say, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to ride with the fact that Lulu has rejected 380 for 3 years and we are trading at it again, and I'm going to ride with the fact that I'm looking for a demand or a supply rejection back into demand, or I'm going to stay away from it because I don't want to take the risk. There is no more analysis that you could possibly gather here. It's either you take the trade, you focus on your risk reward, and you're accepting of whatever the outcome is, or you just say, hey, I just don't have the cojones to take this trade. I'm not interested in it, right? There's one or two options at this point. There's no more that you could possibly look at. You either take it or you don't at this point. So let's go over the futures one last time before we head out. Look at that 15.2 supply, guys. I mean, that's it. We talked about that as the market was pushing higher. We didn't have any voodoo magic. We just simply have our technical levels. I did not have insight into where the Nasdaq would reject. I just know the technical levels, and you can see that is exactly where the Nasdaq rejected. You do not long today. If the Nasdaq is under 15.2, be careful shorting into the 20 SMA, as I already spoke about. SPY, you can see 439, very clear previous low rejection. That is that 15.2 supply rejection on the Nasdaq. Very, very apparent. All right. Keep an eye on that level today. That's going to be your thing to watch, right? That's going to guide your trading day. Guide your trading day off these futures levels. I can't stress the importance about it or the importance of it. I hope that everyone out there uses these levels to guide their day, hopefully give you some structure, give you some idea of what your game plan should be, right? You need to have structure when you come into the market. The best place to start building your structured plan is around the futures levels. That is my hardcore belief. It has done great things for me, and I would recommend you do the same. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Can we get 1,000 likes on this beautiful Monday? That would be very nice. Little 1,000 like Monday. I would appreciate that if you guys could press the like before you head out. I hope you guys have a fantastic trading day. Thank you again for being here. I always appreciate the support. Make sure to go check out that video in the pinned comment in the live chat. That is a new video from Carmine and I. Recorded a few weeks ago. He finally was able to get that out. So feel free to check that one out. Check out my video from Thursday, live trading there. Yeah. Thank you guys again. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.